Sophia Reynolds was used to people pretending around her. Being a millionaire came with masks, fake smiles, empty compliments, and friends who disappeared the moment she stopped giving. But one man caught her attention not because he tried to impress her, but because he never even noticed her. Every evening, she'd see Daniel, a quiet single father who worked as a janitor in her office building. He always finished his shift in silence, nodding politely before hurrying away. One night, curiosity tugged at her. Why did he always leave in such a rush, carrying nothing but a tired smile? Against her better judgment, Sophia followed him. Through winding streets and dimly lit sidewalks, she trailed behind until Daniel entered a small diner. Instead of ordering food for himself, he carefully counted the coins in his pocket and bought a simple meal. Then, she saw him walk outside, not to eat, but to hand the food to a shivering homeless man waiting near the door. Her breath caught. He had nothing, yet he gave everything. Daniel finally went home, entering a rundown apartment where a little girl with messy hair ran to hug him. He smiled as if he hadn't just sacrificed his own dinner. Sophia felt a sting of shame. Here she was with wealth beyond measure, yet this man, with so little, was richer in kindness than anyone she knew. That night, Sophia's heart whispered, "This discovery will change everything." Sophia couldn't shake the image of Daniel giving away his dinner. That kind of selflessness felt rare in the world she knew. The next evening, she lingered after work again, waiting for him to finish. And once more, she followed. This time, he went straight home. From the cracked window of his small apartment, she saw Daniel sitting at a wobbly kitchen table with his daughter, Lily. The meal was simple, half a loaf of bread and a bowl of soup. Yet Daniel told stories that made Lily giggle so hard she spilled water across the table. Sophia's chest tightened. He was giving his child a childhood filled with joy, even if he had to hide the struggle behind it. The next morning, Sophia called her assistant. "I need a delivery made anonymously," she said. She arranged for groceries, children's clothes, and a box of toys to be left at Daniel's door. That evening, she waited from a distance. When Daniel opened the box, his eyes widened. Lily squealed, hugging a stuffed rabbit tighter than anything she owned. But then Daniel paused. His expression shifted, not to greed, but to worry. He looked around, almost suspicious, as if wondering who could have done such a thing. Instead of rushing to keep the gifts, he carefully tucked most of them away, keeping only what they truly needed. Later that night, Sophia overheard him telling Lily, "Someone out there is kind, but we must never take more than our share." Sophia's throat tightened. He wasn't just teaching his daughter survival, he was teaching her integrity. For the first time in years, Sophia felt small in the best way possible. Wealth had given her power, but Daniel had something she couldn't buy, a heart that chose goodness, even in struggle. Sophia wrestled with a thought all day: should I step out from the shadows? It wasn't like her to get involved personally. But something about Daniel and Lily drew her in. That evening, fate seemed to decide for her. As she walked out of the office, she noticed Daniel struggling with a heavy box. Papers spilled across the sidewalk, and his little girl clutched his hand, trying to help. Without thinking, Sophia rushed forward. "Here, let me," she said, kneeling to gather the papers. Daniel looked surprised. "Oh, thank you. I'm sorry, it's a mess." Sophia smiled. "Happens to the best of us." Then she looked down at Lily, who was shyly hiding behind her father's leg. "And who's this helper?" "This is Lily," Daniel said softly. "My whole world." For the first time, Sophia saw him up close, not just a man working silently in the halls, but a father whose tired eyes softened when he looked at his daughter. They chatted briefly. Sophia kept her tone casual, not wanting to reveal how much she already knew. She simply offered, "I know a cafe nearby, let me buy you both a hot drink. Consider it a thank you for all the late nights you spend keeping our building clean." Daniel hesitated but finally agreed. At the cafe, Lily laughed at the marshmallows floating in her cocoa while Daniel sat across from Sophia, clearly uncomfortable with the kindness. "You didn't have to do this," he murmured. Sophia studied him, realizing this wasn't a man used to receiving help, he was used to giving it. And for the first time in years, Sophia didn't feel like the millionaire in the room. She just felt human. The cafe meeting stayed in Sophia's mind long after that night. Daniel's humility wasn't an act, he truly lived with gratitude, even in scarcity. But something about the way he carried himself made her wonder, how hard was life really for him? A week later, she found out. Sophia had finished a late meeting when she saw Daniel again, this time, outside a pharmacy. He stood at the counter, quietly arguing with the pharmacist. His shoulders were tense, his voice strained. "Is there a cheaper option?" he asked, glancing at the prescription in his hand. "It's for my daughter. She's been coughing for days." The pharmacist shook his head. Daniel sighed, pulling out his worn wallet. He counted the bills twice, then reluctantly put back some cash he had set aside. Sophia's heart twisted, she realized he was sacrificing grocery money for medicine. Later, she discreetly followed him home. Lily was curled on the couch with a blanket, her cough echoing in the small apartment. Daniel tucked her in, smiling reassuringly even as his face revealed worry. Sophia stood outside, tears welling. She had spent millions on luxuries, cars, vacations, jewelry, yet this man was calculating whether he could afford bread after buying medicine. That night, she couldn't sleep. A voice inside her whispered, "You've been given wealth for a reason. Maybe it's not just for yourself." The next morning, she made a decision. No more watching from the sidelines. She would step fully into their lives, not with pity, but with purpose. And she had no idea just how much that choice would change her life too. The next evening, Sophia knocked gently on Daniel's door. When he opened it, surprise flashed across his face. "Ms. Reynolds? Did I do something wrong at work?" he asked nervously. Sophia shook her head with a warm smile. "No, Daniel. Actually, I came to talk about an opportunity." Inside the modest apartment, Lily peeked shyly from behind the couch. Sophia sat at the table and explained, "I've seen how hard you work, not just at the office, but for your daughter, for others. I run several businesses, and I need people I can trust. People with heart. Would you consider working with me in a more permanent role, better pay, stable hours?" Daniel froze, his hand tightening on the chair. I don't know what to say." "Say yes, Daddy." Lily chirped, her little face lighting up. His eyes glistened as he finally nodded. "Yes. Thank you." From that day forward, life began to shift. Daniel took on the role, earning enough to provide more than just the basics. Lily's health improved, and her laughter filled brighter rooms. But what touched Sophia most wasn't their gratitude, it was their refusal to lose humility. Daniel still gave to the homeless man outside the diner. Lily still shared her toys at school. One evening, as they all sat together at the cafe where it had begun, Daniel said softly, "You didn't just give us a chance. You reminded me that kindness still exists in this world." Sophia smiled, realizing he was wrong. It was he who had reminded her. Wealth could build walls, but kindness, pure, selfless kindness, could build bridges. And in that moment, Sophia knew, she hadn't just changed their lives. They had changed hers forever.